The pitch.
That's the sound of a baseball. Let's talk about baseball, Ian.
Going into the sky.
Going into the sky. Talking about baseballs going into the sky, the Mariners just defeated the Houston Astros 7-1, and I think they had 3 home runs in this game. All of this coming before the 6th inning, 7-1 at that point, and we took it home. Well, took it away, I should say, because we are away. We just came off an amazing homestand of winning. I think we only lost 2 games in the last week, and we claimed first place on Saturday, tied it with Houston. Sunday, we swept the Rays, and we claim first place. And now we claim first place for sure because we just defeated the Houston Astros 7-1.
Yep.
This is shit. We haven't been this deep into the season and in first place since 2003. I think a couple years ago we were in first place in the West when we had a really good first third of the season, and then we marinered it out the rest of the season by not making the playoffs.
Yep.
So we are in a baseball world in Seattle that we have not seen for most of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, most of our lives. It's weird to even think about.
It's crazy to think about. 2003, we weren't even in high school, Ian.
Yep.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
So Mariners are doing fucking fantastic. Again, they won today, Tuesday the 5th. Today the 5th?
Yes, it is.
It is the 5th. Revenge of the 5th. So Mariners are winning. Pitching is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Hitting is fantastic.
Yeah.
Some of the players have some great little profiles, especially this last week. Dee Gordon, I want to mention him in a little bit. Remind me. But Ian, what do you think thus far?
Well, I think it's really great that we did what we did on the road against the reigning champs. The Astros took the American League to school last year. They ran away with the top seed. Mm-hmm. So it's really great to see that we can, back up our early season success with a good showing down in Houston. I'm a little concerned because I just feel like I've seen this song and dance before. The Mariners.
You're not alone.
Here's the thing about the Mariners is we're in that purgatory as a franchise currently. It's like we're not, the draft is. Baseball's so weird.
Happening right now.
Yeah, the draft is
37 rounds of it.
The draft isn't as impactful immediately, in baseball as in other sports, but like
pretty much every sport.
The Astros, I remember when they were picking up Carlos Correa in the first round, and I remember seeing that, and then not too long after, the players are coming into the league younger than ever before in the MLB, and so the reason I bring that up is because we weren't like stockpile. We're not the Boston Celtics. We're not stockpiling high draft picks, and all of a sudden, boom, we're really good. Mm-hmm. The Mariners were, barely missing the playoffs. 500 seasons. I think we've had winning seasons in the last 3 years, haven't we?
No, not at all.
I don't believe that.
Well, we barely missed the playoffs last year we basically had a play-in game for the play-in game last year.
I remember that.
And
we
lost it.
And that's a winning record. And then a couple years ago,
I'm pretty sure that was
maybe 82 and 82.
No, we did not win 82 games, Ian. Look it up.
I am. Okay, you're right. 74 and 84 last year. Let's find out what 2016 says. 86 and 76. We were 10 games over 500.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So
we still didn't win the World Series. It's the worst.
Seriously, this is the problem with the Mariners that makes me just. It's worse than being terrible. Like, tanking is a thing, and it doesn't really work in baseball. But, so that's why I'm just like, oh, man, is this going to be the year? And then it's just such a bummer sometimes. We have such good players, and we see them through their whole prime. Like, you're talking, I want to hear your thoughts on Felix and how he's adjusting to his new role in the rotation. So I guess my question back to you is, I want to be optimistic. I want baseball to be a thing again. And maybe it's just Ichiro's magic touch, but I want
Edgar's.
What's that?
Or Edgar's.
Yeah, maybe. There is a street named after him.
And a cantina in left field. Yeah. If you're a hitting coach, you put your cantina in left field.
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
that's what you do.
So I don't know, man. Like, what makes you think this year is gonna be different?
I think it's for the first time in years, I think we have a team that we look at the player profiles, who's on our team, and how they make up the definition of the word team, right? It's not just a team that has a roster of players. This is a roster of players that make a team, if that makes sense. They play together. They have their quirks. Right this year, it's the thumbs up, and they each have their own variation of the thumbs up. If they get a double or an RBI or a home run, you're gonna see Kyle Seager doing the thumbs up left and right. You're gonna see not Robinson Cano, because we're not talking about him right now, but Nelson Cruz. When he gets something, he does a double thumbs up at the same time. They have their own versions of it, but they're playing with it. It's like Clint Dempsey and all the players on the Sounders. When one of them scores, or if he scores and it's assist from somebody, he goes to that player and they have their own handshake.
Yeah.
And Clint Dempsey is the player on the team.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's looked up to him their entire playing career if they're a U.S.-based player.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not, they've looked at him and seen him be at the top of his game.
Mm-hmm.
And to have players like that on the team that are having fun with not so big players. Mitch Haniger was traded to this team, and he didn't really have anything going for him. He wasn't a big name that signed with this team, got traded to this team. But it's the fit that has made him. He's Joe Cool in right field, man.
Right.
I mean, he is. I did a little GIF on our Twitter about Mitch Haniger. Amazing sliding, diving catch. And he's blowing a bubble and putting it out and putting it back in his mouth in the process of catching it. I'm like, that's Joe Cool right there. He's nearly broken his head off just catching a foul ball.
Yeah.
And great players sacrifice themselves, and players see that. But what I really am impressed with, and it starts with someone named Dee.
Yeah. So I want to ask you about that. Dee Gordon, how's he doing?
He's a Gold Glove second baseman coming to the Mariners.
Oh, yeah.
And when
he
we
was
signed
not
him,
pleased when he learned.
We said you're center field. Why? Because you're the fastest motherfucker out there. And we brought the field in a few feet.
Yeah. Well, I think that was really important because it was not a hit friendly.
It wasn't for Nelson Cruz. It didn't matter, but for any.
It's not Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. You're not. It's not. 399 feet in dead center. It's pretty deep. So, but with Dee Gordon, he is a classy. He's a cool cat. Like, he speaks that way. Like, hey cat, what's going on, man? Like, just chill. He's like that. He's just super chill all the time. Very respectful man. But then Robin Cano happened. You're learning a new position, and let's put you back in your regular position because we need that role to fill, and that's a super critical role. And that's how you turn doubles. Yeah. And you know how to do it. And jumped right in, and he was turning doubles that very first game.
Right.
Wow. He's also batting 300.
Yep. I just checked it, 296.
Yeah. That's this far into the season. We're a third in.
Yeah.
That means, okay, you're all-star.
How does he feel about the switch back? Does he just like... has he had any good
Honestly,
sound
I
bites
haven't
about
read
it?
really into that, but just watching...
That's kind of a good feeling, though. That's kind of gets me stoked. So who replaced him in center?
So we have Guillermo Heredia is in center, Mitch Haniger's in right, and Denard... I keep wanting to say Snap. But Denard is in left. And he's a guy we got from Tampa. Alex Colome.
James, if we're wrong, you can correct us.
You mean Jacob?
Yes, Jacob. Sorry.
Jacob Perlman.
All we've been through. I'm sorry.
Someone we actually grew up with. He's very supportive of our
podcast. What's the guy who always tweets us?
That's not Jacob.
What the fuck's his name?
Oh no, I feel bad now. We're gonna. You know what?
That's what I thought we were talking to.
Pausing the show, and I'm gonna look you up, and we're gonna shout you.
We're gonna get you one of our 11 followers.
Yes, we are.
It's
Seattle Jake. Sports liked us too. It is. Thanks, bro.
It's Jake.
It's Jake.
Jake Daniels.
Hey, Jake Daniels. You're invited to the TBD podcast, call in, or hell, we'll hang out with you. We will.
Jake, we will look at you. We will speak to you. We will hear you.
The only way we'll allow it, though, is if you onboard onto Star Wars with Ian. We'll get into that later. But yeah, Jake, thank you. And Jacob,
hi.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for being our friend our entire life. No, so let's get back to Dee Gordon real quick. So yeah, he's just really super cool, right? And he's adjusted to the roles he needed to play, but he didn't have a great first game back from the DL, I believe. Wasn't bad.
How long was he on the DL?
Now I'm second guessing myself because he had I think that his game back from the DL, he had a triple in his first at bat, and then he on a pop up into shallow right field. Like second baseman could have caught it, but it was a right fielder, which gives the right fielder more momentum. If you're gonna tag third on my catch and try to beat me home, I have my momentum going forward. Dee Gordon said, "Fuck that noise, I'm scoring." Right fielder catches this, drills it home on a single bounce, and Dee Gordon is safe.
Nice.
The acceleration on that is insane. So that's the aggression. I'm back. I'm playing. He also called off Ryan Healy, first baseman, on a routine pop-up on top of first base. He's second baseman, and I'm watching it on TV, and he's like, mine! Like, just completely obnoxious. And Ryan Healy just turns around, watches him catch it, stares him down, and shoves him with one hand with straight face for a second. I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But you know they're cool. You can't be mad at Dee Gordon.
Okay.
And he just kind of smiles and kind of looks at the dugout and kind of goes back to his spot.
Yeah.
And Ryan Healy's just like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like, the rules of the game, outfielders call off infielders, and if it's on my section, like, it's routine. He's not going out of bounds.
Yeah.
He just calls him off.
Did anybody ask him about that?
Maybe, but I'm not a journalist. But the team's fine.
Yeah.
And that is Dee Gordon's mentality. And it showed even more on last Friday night after the game. It goes into the 12th inning, and we win on a walk-off Mitch Haniger home run. And I don't think Dee Gordon was happy with his performance in that game. So it's 12:30 at night. He takes a tee and hits like 100 balls or something nuts. Just on his own, in his own head, on Safeco.
That's cool.
And just hits until like 1:30 in the morning. And then
Who
he goes.
was the guy who had to get all those balls?
Dee Gordon. That is why. Dee
Very
Gordon went and got his own balls.
Very cool.
The video that you'll
Very
find
cool.
on Twitter is taken from the press box. Someone's still fucking there. Like, is that Dee Gordon? Swinging by himself on a fucking tee.
Was he still in his uniform?
No, he was in like warm-ups.
Yeah.
But didn't ask anyone in the Mariners organization or anything to stay behind and fetch his balls or pitch balls.
Yeah.
He's just like, I just need to focus at the ball and hit it. And then I'll go get my own balls and go to bed.
Wow. That's amazing.
I don't remember a player doing that.
No, I haven't.
And I'm sure it's happened. And I'm sure that in variations of that kind of selflessness, and also he's not tweeting it out, but he knows that people are going to find out he did that. Right? He's not showing up as teammates. People know him. He's just saying, I'm all in, man. I'm true to the blue. Let's go. That is why I think this Mariners team is different than any team since 2001.
So, I love all that. That's a really cool story. It's funny you mentioned that this team being different, obviously because you answered my question, but another thing that's different about this team from years past is Felix ain't the guy anymore.
Really the king.
Yeah, he'll be the king.
A nobleman, for sure.
He's an earl.
No, Felix is not the king, and he kind of he's the king. Like Bill Clinton, you call him Mr. President.
You call all the presidents Mr. President.
Well, that's my point. I didn't mean Bill Clinton. He's just alive.
Right.
But he's not the king of this league right now.
Yeah.
He's not 2012. Cy Young.
How old is he?
Perfect
He's
game.
like pushing 40, isn't he?
No, he's like 33. Dude, he's
wow,
he's low 30s.
He needs to get his shit together then, because that is young for pitchers.
That is, but he's been throwing the way he's been throwing since he
Oh yeah, he came in when he was 21.
He came in 21, and that's fairly unheard of for pitchers. And
Oh yeah.
And then if you start that young, you're usually fizzing out in your late and late 20s, at least of the type of pitcher you are.
Mm-hmm.
What you have to do is adapt.
Mm-hmm.
Roger Maddox did it. Did I say Roger Maddox?
Yeah.
I
Not even close.
For some reason, I was like Roger Clemens, but I meant Greg Maddox. Am I right? God,
it's Greg Maddox, yes.
Okay, I knew I was right there. Kirby Puckett, still alive. Fuck me. Anyway, no, but like you have to adapt.
Field goal.
You have to adapt though. You have to change your game. You're not the same.
He's 32.
Guy.
You're right.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, but he's not throwing 95, 96, 97. He's throwing 89, 90, 91 for fastballs.
MLB debut was 2005.
Yeah, 13 years. Man.
God. Yeah.
He's been a freak.
He won the Cy Young in 2010.
It was 2010?
Yeah.
Perfect game was 2012.
What is it? It says he pitched an immaculate inning on June 17, 2008. What is an immaculate inning? Okay, before I read it, I'm going to guess it's 9 straight pitches. Let's find out.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
That's what I'm saying, 9 straight pitches. Yeah. An immaculate inning occurs in baseball when a pitcher in a half inning throws only 9 pitches.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Yeah. The more and more, like, you get into, like, the stats, if you will, on baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, on-base percentage actually isn't a percentage. It's just a quantifier of how good you are using multiple different stats and putting them into a divide by. Mm-hmm. But baseball's got some of the funnest stats to really just kind of understand. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to get into, like, the show and any of those video games that are, like...
Oh, basically all baseball video games suck dick.
What?
All of them suck.
Who says? According to who? To you?
Xbox players.
Okay.
The show is PS4 or PlayStation only.
Oh,
and I've heard that's good.
I see.
But
yeah, I've always heard the show is really good.
RBI baseball has been absolutely horrid.
Wow,
Absolutely horrid.
I've never even heard of that.
It's been around, and they had a new one, and they really touted it this year. And I've
I've always heard of
looked at
MLB The
reviews.
Show. That's weird.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd love to play MLB The Show. Baseball games are super fun. Ken Griffey Jr.'s Slugfest was the best game on
so
N64.
great.
So much fun. So anyway, Felix, he's lost his fastball. In terms of it being
that is
Felix
not a death
fastball.
sentence for a pitcher, though.
No, because actually, what he showed against this sweep of Tampa Bay on Sunday was that you still have the most dangerous changeup, I think, in baseball. It's just you used your fastball to set that up all the time, but you can still beat people with it, and it doesn't have to be strikeouts, Felix. Yeah. K is on your neck. I get it, but you can have less pitches.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I thought it was like okay. Anyway.
Well, I think it's an H actually with a crown on it, and I'm thinking king because of King Felix and King Squirt. Either way, he's a king. He's known for his strikeouts.
Oh, it's for carrots.
With K. But no, his mentality has been striking batters out, owning batters, right? That he's been the king. That's why LeBron James demolishes
I'd be
players,
curious
right?
to see the stat of how many 1-0, 2-1 losses that man has in his life. Felix Hernandez.
Yeah, no, it's well, that is curious, but that makes me think of how many one-run wins the Mariners have this year, which I think we're at 18.
Yeah, but what's our runs per game? I wonder, and I just wonder like Felix's dominance. You can't see my hands. I'm doing like a line graph.
Yeah.
Versus like our offensive ineptitude, and it just seems like, God, like can we get a little bit of an intersection here? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's happening this year.
Yeah.
Our pitching is some of the best in baseball right now, so that certainly
that's
helps.
amazing because because that pissed me off last year where our offense finally came together.
That's the biggest change. You could talk about hitting and offensive production from the Mariners versus, let's say, 2 years ago when we were over 500 versus now. But right now, their pitching is right up there. Marco Gonzalez, James Paxton is going to vie for top 3 in the Cy Young American League conversation. I mean, he had a 19 strikeout game.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And he had a no-hitter.
Yep.
So, and 2 complete games. You don't hear complete games in today's MLB.
Nope.
It's 6th inning, and we have 15 other pitchers.
There's so many joint no hitters nowadays. Like that's unheard of.
And boring.
Back in the
Who
day,
gives a fuck? Take that stat out.
Leave them in. Like I'm sorry. It's like there's that argument.
Then you give up your no hitter.
It's like there's that argument in basketball where it's like analytics versus like gut check and like feel. In baseball, like, there are unwritten rules. You leave that pitcher in. I don't care if he has a pitch count.
Yeah.
Unless he's, like, right off surgery and he's your number 1 draft pick and he's 21 years old. Okay, fine, maybe. But the guy's going for a no-hitter. You leave that man in.
I
don't care.
It's an entertainment-based thing, and we're the fans.
Yeah,
I want to see
thing. That's another thing. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
But however, that is their millions of dollar investment for the rest of the season. So I get it from a business standpoint.
Well, don't they spend $1 million so he can do that kind of shit? Like, isn't that the point?
Yeah, but we also spent $1 million on the relief pitchers and our closer that can finish the game off. And one, you're talking about how many times have you gone through the lineup, so they're used to your pitches now. I mean, that's a new thing. That's what Marco Gonzalez has had to do this year because he has, three pitches, and is like, hey, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then when you get second time through the rotation, third or fourth inning, then start throwing the slider or something like that, right? And that's part of the game too. What they're telling Marco Gonzalez to do this year, throw it all at them because you're probably out in the 6th inning. We'll throw it all at them, kick their fucking ass. Our offense will get you the win. Our relief pitching will give you the win, right? We'll get you to the point of earning a win, and we're not going to relinquish that lead and by our relief pitching. I'll take that too, so I can get my stat. Winning your games and winning is what the pitcher wants, and then you get all your other stuff.
Which is why it's so tragic with Felix during his prime. Because so many games he threw gems and was just didn't get a win.
Yeah, but to win Cy Youngs and have perfect
I think he was 500 when he won the Cy Young. Like, I'd have to check that.
I remember that sounds about right because even earlier when he was struggling this year, they were saying he was kind of at the same pace he was in his Cy Young year.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, it's like
for win-loss though.
Yeah, because he was win-loss and ERA at this point because he was having horrific first innings this year, but. It's a long season, yada yada yada, and he's still talented. And then he comes out on Sunday and goes 8 innings, 1 earned run, I think 7 strikeouts, maybe a walk, maybe. He also had some great infield plays, or one play I believe. But anyway, he completely took not Stoudemire. God, I'm fucking up on names. Fuck you, Rainier. The pitching coach really hammered it into him, and it was pretty much going to be you need to figure it out because otherwise we have some really hard decisions at the end of the year. And we're not going to say that out publicly, and we're still standing behind you. But James Paxton, Marco Gonzalez, and we have some relief pitchers coming in there. Matt LeBlanc, Wade LeBlanc, Matt LeBlanc, friends.
Joey. Honestly, man, if he can get it together and get like a savvy vet pitch game, he's still young enough that he can still throw it in.
He can do it.
Yeah, and Sunday. You paint the corners, you paint the edges, you outsmart the young guys, and
you don't need strikeouts. You ground balls.
And if every now and again you can get it in there, high 80s, low 90s, you're gonna strike some guys out.
Yeah, and a high end fastball at 90 miles an hour is really hard to hit.
Yeah, and so. Maybe this kind of hit him like a ton of bricks. I don't remember him having the greatest year last year, but
no, he didn't.
Yeah, so
injury.
Really. Yeah, so injury. So maybe he's still coming around, but like maybe he just needs to wrap his head around like kind of switching up his game. Like, let's get some Jamie Moyer in this guy. So
I don't think 70 miles an hour is going to be in his repertoire other than the changeup, but. What I think he already hasn't made that transition, Ian. I think Sunday proved it. One, you have Paxton and Gonzalez and really Wade LeBlanc, who is that Jamie Moyer type pitcher, that left-hander that throws 75 miles an hour fast. But he's striking people out too. It's like I have 3 other guys in the bullpen with me that can be number 1 or number 2, and I'm a number 1 I'm a number 1. So the Mariners now have 4 pitchers that are either a number 1 or number 2 starting in your rotation pitcher on any other team other than the Houston Astros and the Yankees, let's say.
Yeah.
I really don't think there's another bullpen that's better.
Chris Sale and David Price from
Boston.
I'm
talking about yeah, definitely Boston. I mentioned that earlier. Sorry. Not on the mic. But then you talk about Alex Colomé and Edwin Diaz being your 8th and 9th inning. They're closers. Throwing 98, 99. Edwin Diaz throws 100. So, I'm really excited. I think that everything we've talked about, maybe I've convinced you, maybe I haven't. It's the personalities, it's the bullpen, it's the full-on team, and the fan base. When you get the electricity around the city, the team reacts to that too.
Well, that's,
and it's hard to
that's
get
Seattle for you, man.
Hard to get 30,000 people.
That's why, next year, Seattle Golden Knights, Stanley Cup.
Well, it won't be next year that we.
I'm just saying. Team,
but
I'm looking forward to it. Go Seawolves.
Yeah, rugby. There's a rugby podcast out there. If you guys are listening, we'll listen.
We will hang out with you.
Ian, Aaron, Jake, and the Seawolves.
And Poobity
Scoop.
Scoop. Good Lord. I need to
All
listen
right.
to that still. Do I even...
Well, we will maybe come up with our own version of Poopity Scoop at the end of this podcast. Stay tuned.
Kanye, we'll hang out with you.
Kanye, you're invited to this stupid podcast. You
Welcome to the stupid podcast.
STBD. All right. Well, there's baseball.
Baseball.
We did not win any 2 games.
Doing it right now. You're going to have to edit this part.
I will.